more stationary security cameras, night vision shot, all this, fun technological stuff. So,
and we've got it.
And like you guys were saying earlier, you guys aren't like breaking into places.
Oh,
and,
absolutely
investigating.
not.
You guys are going about this correctly.
That's our number one rule with the group is we do everything legitimate. Mm-hmm. We don't break into places. Everything that we need to get into, for example, if we want to try to get into, say, a hospital or something, we go through the proper protocols. We talk to the right people. We get permission.
Yeah, we will even fill out paperwork, based on we were legal entry, and you guys are safe to, that we're here, and we don't go about doing stuff like that.
So there's an article or a story coming out about you guys pretty soon
yes.
on the Rapidian. What's that all about?
Well, it's all about what we're doing here. It's talking about the group. It's getting people to realize and open their eyes to what's around them. Basically, it talks about our group and what we do and how we go about doing things. And it's really to try to get people to realize it's okay.
Yes.
To admit that there's things going on around you. It's okay to ask people for help when you have something going around you and you can't explain it. That's where we come in.
We are confidential. If anything comes up, your name or your house or your location or video or nothing is ever released out anywhere into the public without your permission. So there's absolutely nothing to be scared of on coming forward to us. And, all of our emails, everything is all, close case,
Mm-hmm. And the flashlight evidence will be on the video.
Cool.
Excellent. Total flashlight.
Excellent.
No way, that's so cool.
Yeah, the old flashlight experiment.
We did put one clip in there. Here.
When you
I don't like
do you do this flashlight experiment like randomly at random places sometimes? Like even when you're at a restaurant.
Most people don't bring it out every time, but we love it. We get such great responses off it. We'll set that thing on the floor on a nice stable surface,
Isn't it so interesting?
We'll ask it to come on, and it'll come right on. And you ask it to come off, and it'll go right. And just to make sure it's not a fluke, we do it multiple times.
You could actually get the whole communication and responses and stuff like that using the K2 meter as well.
Oh yeah.
And I'd love to try.
Yeah, we'll even set a K2 meter next to it, and to prove that there's something going on next to it, our K2 lights will flash on and off, and our meters will be going off the charts while this is happening.
Wow.
Okay, so I want to talk about. We still have some time left. I want to talk about some haunted places that are of particular interest. Just one, in case you're ever interested, is the former state mental institution that's in Traverse City, Michigan.
Oh yeah.
Has anyone you known ever gone there? You have.
I've done it.
Wow.
It's real deal.
It is the real deal.
Yeah.
I was
out trippy?
It was pretty interesting. It was very dirty when we were in there. So every time you moved, you would kick up dust. Like, we're talking a lot of dust, as if there was a wind blowing through
Before
there.
they turned it into condos?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cameras, because that with dust, it kind of exposes stuff that looks like ghosts on night vision, and it's really not.
Now, granted, I was there before I really took a lot of this seriously, so I wasn't exactly there under the most.
You were the one screaming.
I was like, come out here, I'm going in after you.
Yeah.
So. But it was really interesting, and we didn't have a lot of equipment at the time.
Did you know that they used to practice eugenics there on Native Americans?
I did not know that.
And they also practice sterilization. So there's some very harrowing things that took place there. So I can understand if an entity feels like there's unfinished business.
What is eugenics?
Basically experiments on humans.
It's bad.
Human breeding.
Human breeding.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
That's totally what it is. It was big. The Nazis did a lot of science on it, trying to create the pure Aryan race, and the United States government also experimented.
And same with philanthropist and friend W.K. Kellogg, inventor of Raisin Bran, which was invented to stop mental institution patients from masturbating.
Raisin Bran was?
Does that work?
Actually, there was.
Haven't you eaten Raisin Bran before?
Kind of speaking on that term, I was actually watching the show Ghost Hunters, and they're actually going through. This is Ghost Adventures, which we do not follow by their protocol because they don't go about things the right way. They're more, Anyway, we don't do
just
it
for show.
It's TV time.
It's all TV.
And, actually, they were in a penitentiary, and actually they have their old book that says cause deaths and stuff, and like you said with the masturbation, it was actually written in the book. This guy died from chronic masturbation.
What?
He didn't have his raisin bran.
And apparently, when they were investigating the place, his name came up in an EVP.
Wow.
W.K. Kellogg?
So, as we're...
Sorry, I'm just not following.
So it's just funny, as we're talking about this leftover energy, and it could be, excited energy.
Think about that when you eat your Pop-Tarts, which is...
I don't know if I'm going to touch breakfast cereal again after that. That's...
Well, it's a sad piece of Michigan history. Michigan was one of the central locations for eugenics on Native Americans.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought Michigan was a pure state.
Well, Austin
Michigan?
Blair, the 13th governor of Michigan, was very much against eugenics, and there are several speeches that you can find against his because his speaking out against that because it's the movement kind of started in like 1850s, 1860s, like at least in Michigan.
Right.
But then in W.K. Kellogg's time, it just got out of control. Anyway, that's kind of a bummer.
Okay.
that sheds new light on my whole experience there now. That's weird.
I want to know what the craziest thing you guys have investigated, like from the story, like the report that you guys have gotten to what you've found. I guess that was my biggest question.
I'd say as me and Tim as a group together, we've got other people in our group, but me and Tim and another person actually went to one place, and it is disclosed. We're not going to discuss where it was. But actually, we've had a lot of things happen at this certain place, and it was beyond. We were there for maybe 45 minutes, an hour, and it was. Tim would get a sense of foreboding all the time, and the lady investigator we were with, she was constantly being touched, and that's the one that I got pushed out of the attic in, and the flashlight was coming on and off constantly. It came on in my hand, and it was completely.
Was it a residence?
This was actually a. Old cabin or something that somebody actually had us come out and do,
and the EVPs, the white noise that we got off of that was phenomenal.
We even had demonic. Our best EVP we got there was just this deep throated demonic. Just get out, just deep. And right when we heard that get out, that's when I got pushed.
Yep.
Wow.
And actually, we didn't even have to pick that up with a recorder. I heard that with my own ears.
Wow.
And given that he heard it with his own ears, clearly the recorder.
So that's when I was getting out, but it just pushed me. It didn't give me enough time to get out, but...
Wow.
So do you... go for it, Rob.
Oh, I'm wondering if they have nightmares after something like that.
That, honestly, is a question that actually gets asked often, and the answer for me is no. I don't, because...
We do it the right way, and we don't torment. We don't
taunt these things. We do not taunt whatever's there if there's something there. We don't taunt it. We don't say, "Hey, follow me home. I got something for you." We don't do that.
Windowless van.
Hey, we got some candy. Come on.
Personally, my house is haunted, and it happens. And I don't want to cleanse it. I mean, the coolest thing that happened is I got really sick one day, and I couldn't find my medical insurance card to go into the hospital. I was looking for it for probably an hour and a half, and finally, I just joked around because I know the house is haunted. And I was like, "Dang it, ghost!" I'm like, "Would you just?" Where the heck is it, And I actually walked back into the kitchen, and there it was, my insurance information sitting right there in the middle of the floor. So, I'm keeping that thing there for him.
Wow. Is this the same ghost you think that made you have to get exorcised the demons?
No, that one was gone. There's a difference between spirits, and
demons, I guess that was my next question. Can you tell a difference between a harmless spirit opposed to something that might want to harm you?
Well, before I had my exorcism, when I actually decided I should go is when I had the marking of the Trinity on my chest and inner thigh, and also a little bit on the back at one point. I was actually having stuff being broken in my house, and I'd hear screams and hissing, and you could tell it was really demonic.
Oh, hissing is the worst.
Yeah.
And
I couldn't sleep.
You can always kind of tell the difference. Even an average person can tell the difference between that.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's like it's a feeling.
It's all about how it interacts with you.
Mm-hmm.
And the marking of the Trinity is usually demonic.
Usually when it comes down to a regular benign, just I'm here.
Why
kind of
three?
thing.
Why Trinity? Like, where does that come from? Is it just like a...
It's all a religious aspect, and I'm not exactly a man.
It's almost the mark of... It's basically the mark of the devil, like 666.
Yeah.
Like, you're mine now. It's basically trying to claim you.
That's more of falling into lines of theology and demonology and stuff like that.
So there is some crossover between the metaphysical world and the religious world.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm a Christian, and this stuff still happens. It doesn't just happen to people that go out and do these seances and stuff, and we don't do any of that.
Mm-hmm. Spiritualists.
And I'm a full-blown Christian. I go to church every Sunday, and but this stuff is still there. This stuff happens, and that's why we're there to help. The devil's not going to stop. Mm-hmm. So,
and like I said before, earlier, it's okay to admit that stuff.
Yeah.
It's okay to ask people for help.
Just because you're being haunted by the devil, you don't want some people are
that
like,
suck.
something's going on in my house, but I don't want my family to know because they're going to think that I'm like, a devil worshiper. That's not the case.
And you'd never be able to resell that home.
Right.
You're like,
it would be hard.
It's up for $120, but because of the devil,
we're going to sell it for $30.
It's just really okay. So we have 1 minute left.
Oh, we have 1 minute.
Okay, so it's Halloween week, which is there's 3 of my favorite holidays. One of them is Halloween, the other one is Christmas, and the other one is New Year's. And
Thanksgiving.
Actually, Election Day.
The food.
Election Day is another one of my favorite. Really?
No,
I like to be gluttonous.
The
That's
food.
the only day of year I do it.
I don't know. I really don't like the Detroit Lions, and my whole family watches the Lions on Thanksgiving, and it's like, ugh, this day sucks. Anyway, The Shining is showing tomorrow night at 8 p.m. at the Meanwhile.
At the Meanwhile, yep. It's definitely the thriller month at the Meanwhile film series,
but
which is
no
good.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I've never seen that, man. I need to watch that.
That movie made me
Don't do it.
Yeah, see, I've heard so many people who are all about it, and it's
I'm going to argue with you on that one.
Haters. That movie changed my life.
I love the Rocky Horror.
Oh, for sure.
Look
Not
at you
even
now.
joking. Not joking. See you next week.
On the radio.